Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Stephen Fore, and Sean Naden. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, it's a new year, new us.
Yeah, we're back.
Kenny made all the bad New Year's jokes last week. Sorry you guys missed them. It was terrible.
I listened. They were pretty classy.
Well, Juice wasn't here, so Juice, I feel like I haven't seen you since 2018, man, like a year.
Like a year, at least a year. Could have been a few weeks. Might have been a year.
You'll never know. No way to track that. It's impossible.
Unless you look at the data of this episode.
So while we were doing the podcast last week, well, I guess not at the same exact time, but last week, Juice and Sean played in a big, small, little event up in Northern Virginia, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point tonight. But by the way, I don't know if y'all saw the Spiky Bits. The Spiky Bits commenters had this to say about the event you attended. You guys ready?
Yes.
I'm gonna hit you with these nuggets.
Oh,
with this warm nugget.
Yo.
By the way, you look great in your picture, Juice. You and
thank you, Sean.
The one from the overall where y'all were on the steps. The Olympic shot.
The Olympics. I was like, normally it doesn't happen, but Tony, I'm pretty sure I'm about to be larger than you, and he's like, I think you are. I was like, I'll shrink if it comes close. I'll bend.
So this is the comment that was left on Spiky Bits. According to the internet, quote, I'm a little disappointed. I was hoping for a more important tournament, but I'm happy that the top 5 armies were monoliths of fairly unplayed groups, end quote.
What?
Comments?
Wait.
What?
It was a troll. You got to address trolls. Trolls say, glad that this small event, the top 5 players had mono lists. So the top 5, there was only one with a mono list. That was Orc, and then it was Tony with Knights and Bard.
Yeah, there was no mono. I mean, there's Orcs.
It's trolls. Thank you, troll, for looking at the picture and commenting. We appreciate that.
Anyways, yeah, I think a lot's happened in the past week. I mean, we got an FAQ, we got GW financials, we've got new video game.
A potential sneak peek into what is going to be competitive at LVO.
Yes, there's that too.
Potential more intel coming in. Sean's going to be going to the Golden Sprue. Is that right? Is that what's coming up this weekend, Sean?
If we don't get the snowpocalypse. But yeah. Because it's in the north, we'll still have the tournament.
The show must go on.
They put plows in the front of cars and chains on the tires, and they just go.
We'll just go.
I feel like I need to invest in some chained tires. Do you buy them separate?
You don't have chains for your truck?
She doesn't get stuck.
Yeah, she does.
Hasn't yet.
He only drives her on sunny days on well paved roads.
Don't you have big old dualies that you had to like literally Sharpie fucking tread on?
I have some 35s.
Like last time I saw the tread on those things, it looked like you drew them on.
Yeah. It was a bad time.
If Strongback can draw abs on himself, Juice can draw tread on his tires. I feel like it's not that bad. Yeah, lots of previews on stuff coming up. Sean's always hitting up the events. There was actually a big event in England too. We didn't really talk about. Was it Last Chance Open? That was a big one. A lot of those dirty Xenos there.
I think they have a big one coming this weekend or next weekend. Caledonian Uprising. It's one of the biggest.
Didn't somebody just win something big in the UK and snuck into the top 10 on ITC Pro Tour?
That was 3 weeks ago. It is I'll tell you here in just a second.
Pull out the app.
He'll have to check the records.
Check the app.
Strike the rune of activation.
So it's second show 2019, second podcast. We got Sean. We got Juice. Haspil's not here. Haspil's been working like a gangster.
I think he might be working on our painting rubric.
Working on a painting rubric. But Rob,
I got some tabletops, some markets to watch.
Real quick, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but it is Nick Nanavati sitting at number 1 at 764.8 points, followed by Europeans Mike Porter, 747 points.
ooh,
That is on the heels. Nick Rose coming in at 4th, Trent Northington at 3rd, and Matt Root still at 5th.
solid top 5 right there. Good old Root.
Definitely.
We're rooting for you.
All right, so we got some tabletop market watch. I see what you did there. Lots of stuff coming out next week. This week we have the final release of the Gloom Spite Gits. Try saying that all the way through the video and not screwing it up once. You can't.
It's impossible.
They have some sweet fun models. I will say that.
If you change the name to be fun, like Gloom Species.
Oh, I changed the name. It was never the same thing twice, I assure you. I stayed in character the whole time. It was pretty hilarious. I can't believe I didn't laugh once. But anyways, no, they look great. I think honestly, personally, I feel like people seem more excited about the trolls, the Troggoths, than the actual Gloomspites. But if you look at the Gobos overall, they look great. And the way they design them with the ability to take a 10 model kit and not have, you would have to accidentally assemble them to look the same. That's how posable they make this stuff now, how modular these things are. It's incredible. And it really like, you know, the stuff they could do for like Tyranids now or Orcs if they redesign the boys. It's incredible on the 40K side. Just looking at this release for Age of Sigmar, they really did some cool stuff with all the designs and things, for the, Gloomspite Gits.
Gloom Species.
Next, what's that?
Gloom Species.
Gloom Species. Next week, we will see, it's kind of like a hodgepodge. It's more like their specialist games release, which they kind of seem to be syncing up with Magic the Gathering releases, which kind of makes sense because it's like a card game on the Underworld side of things, but not so much making sense with like the Titanicus and stuff. But it's cool to see that they can kind of space out their releases and put out these things like Titanicus, Lord of the Rings, even, you know, Warhammer Underworlds and stuff, which they still have a lot of that lined up.
What's Warhammer Underworlds?
Shadespire
or the Crime Solving Vault.
Shame Species. Shade Species.
You can't just put easy on the end of everything, Kenny. This is serious tabletop business.
Sorry, Shade Spizzle.
Much better. So coming out next week for the Shade Spizzle. Did I say it right? I
like Speezy better, but like you can do whatever you want.
I mean, Speezy, it works. It works. Molog's Mob, which is, they actually had rules in the Gloom Species.
He did it on his own. See how easy it is to train him?
Yeah, I'm shaking my head. It sounds terrible. And the Gloomspite gets Battle Tome. They were actually in there. They had War Scrolls. So it kind of makes sense that they came out this week because people would be looking for them. And then you got the Godsworn Hunt, which is the Decoas, kind of like the Chaos, like Marauder kind of people. Those are both $30. And then they got the sleeves. Those are $8. The dice, those are $10. But more importantly, on the topic of the game, the best GW game that you're not playing right now, Adeptus Titanicus, everybody knows it. They're coming out with a new expansion rulebook for $35. It's codex size. It's going to come with, I think it was 6 or 8 of the Legio rules in it, some more scenarios and things, and special rules here and there. It's going to be dope. I'm stoked. Also the Reaver Titan with Melta Cannon and Chain Fist, and also I think it has a Titan Blasters on the Carapace on the top. That's $60.
Titan Blaster. That's an interesting coincidence.
Oh yeah. Gotta have that Titan Blaster. And 3 transfer sheets as well as the Warlord Titan upgrade frame that they let everybody know, hey, you don't have to spend this $110 to get a whole new Titan just to get these extra weapons. We were going to sell the sprue separately. It is direct order GW web exclusive. You can order it through your local game store, but if you don't feel like that's something that they're going to get for you, you could get it online. I definitely recommend scooping this stuff up.
So you can order it from your local game store.
Yeah, web exclusives you can get through your local game store, but the thing, and this is where it gets kind of dicey with any web exclusive, if they don't order it right off the bat, sometimes these things go out of stock. Yeah. Like stuff like Necromunda dice, all these things, they're basically a one and done. So you got to get it quick. So if you don't think they're going to
That's also what they call me. You've said 2 things that were sexual that haven't even commented on for me.
I appreciate the maturity you bring to
Titan
this
Mega
podcast,
Blaster is
Kenny.
what I name my penis. One and done is what my girlfriend calls me.
I take it all back. So I'll take it back. On the Middle Earth side of things,
undid a whole section of Rob's professionalism.
that's it. We can't have a serious podcast here without poop, sexual innuendos. I don't even know why people listen to us.
Starting out 2019 with a bang or a blast.
Or a Titan blast. There is a new rulebook for Middle Earth. Strategy Battles game, Gondor at War for $50. I think it's hardcover. 3 hunters, Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli. Cool little box set.
Those are Lord of the Rings people.
Thank you for that. I'm glad you can bring that to the table. $40 US.
I need people to know I've been paying attention all these years.
I love Lamp.
Oh my goodness. Dice for them and an accessories pack, which we all love game aids, even if they're for Lord of the Rings. So those are the releases coming out next week.
I bought a Lord of the Rings kit the other day when I was at a tournament.
Which one?
I bought
Fuck, you didn't buy shit.
Bang.
The Hobbit.
Oh, that's the new one. Yeah, it's like the Hobbit troop.
It's pronounced Hobbit. Got it.
I got the whole group.
Yeah, that's
Got that oaken
13.
shield.
I'm going to paint that up for my wife for her birthday. Bang.
Awesome.
Blast.
That's the Lord of the Rings Loyal 32 right there.
That's the equivalent of? I like that, Robbie B.
Are they all the little peoples? The hobbits?
No, they're dwarves. Mostly. One hobbit.
There's only
one hobbit in the Hobbit.
Who was the hobbit? Dildo Baggins?
There's a B in there.
I think you said it close. You were close.
It was pretty close.
He was close. Yeah.
Bebo. Got it.
On the financial side of things, GW came out with their mid-year finances, and you'll be surprised to know that their profits are up. Their operating capital margins are also up. But
Wait, hold on. That was such a weak transition. We're going to talk about GW, the most successful model-making company on planet Earth. Proprietors of the sickest plastic miniatures like Age of Sigmar, shark, birds.
I mean, they might not be the sickest model making plastic miniatures. I mean, comparing to Bandai, it's like money wise, I don't know.
Proprietors of the coolest sci-fi
fantasy large scale battles, I guess you could say, would be more appropriate. Dude, Gundam is huge.
Gundam is fucking huge.
I didn't know until I looked up their numbers, and we're talking billions.
Yeah.
We're talking millions with GW. We're talking.
Now, we're not talking
billions.
dildos. We're talking bilbos. You know what I'm saying?
Mildos. We're talking mildos.
Wow. They're $1 billion kit industry or whatever you call them, they classify themselves as.
Gunpla.
Yeah,
wow.
It's a big deal, bro. Like,
legit.
it's a big deal. I mean, and they're super amazing models. Like, but it's different. It's not like hobbying, like what we do. It's definitely makers and craft. Like it's a different philosophy, a different hobby world, but it's very cool. Like some amazing precision going into some of that stuff. But as far as the sci-fi fantasy element goes, like GW's got the composition and the artwork on lock, in my opinion. So these guys who've obviously been pushing since 8th edition, Rob.
Yeah.
Have they made money?
They've been making money. They are definitely still doing well. They're dishing out profits, paying dividends back to investors. They just announced another one actually on the heels of this mid-year report right here. They did strongly caution a few things. One of them was, about Brexit, which is always teetering on like a thread every day. If you read
what
the
is
news.
Brexit?
What is Brexit? That's where. Are you
complex geopolitical answer?
Yeah. Basically, the UK is trying to leave the EU, and it's going to create trade issue.
The UK is trying to leave. So what would they do if they let the EU come up with a new sick UK dollar?
You mean the British pound?
They never adopted the euro.
So if they never adopted the euro, why does it matter if they're leaving the euro?
Because they pay money into the whole system.
That's true too.
But don't use it.
Trade.
Now, why would you keep paying into something you don't fucking use?
Well, they use
I feel like he knows these issues and he's trolling us.
Yes. I also agree to that one, Rob.
I'm not going to dignify these answers.
So got it. So Brexit could affect GW and their earnings and profit loss, I guess, going into 2019?
It could. I mean, they say that what's good about it is GW's not in debt, so to speak, or anything like that. And they mentioned that they're pretty liquid, which is good. And they've been able to, save up a lot of a cash surplus, which is also good for any business, especially one that's growing. Now they talk about, the big thing is, employee issues and trade. That will always be an issue, when it comes to potential leaving the EU. But some stuff that they are developing is a second factory because as everybody here can probably agree, a lot of stuff goes out of stock, sometimes too quick. Sometimes, things that have gone out of stock traditionally don't go out of stock like ever. And you're just like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, cool. Well, so you kind of got to jump on things and the restocks are taking a little bit longer. So they're kind of addressing that. They bring up a lot of missed opportunities, which you could interpret to be a lot of different things, like potentially other competitors beating them to market, potentially not being able to capitalize on, hey, we're going to come out with this range. We want to do this many kits, but our forecast only says we got enough cheddar to do maybe less kits. So maybe they're going to come back to it, down the road and things like that. There's all sorts of different ways you could kind of interpret missed opportunities in this context. I feel like, I like a lot of what they're saying where they kind of identify the problems and they're like, the biggest problem is, having egos interfering, in our management.
GW said that in their report?
Mm-hmm. They've said that multiple times. Some folks are under the belief that there's a little bit of power struggle still with Kirby, which I think still holds a seat on the board. I'd have to check on that, but not in
Didn't he cash out a bunch of his shares?
He did. I think he cashed out like 20 million pounds? No, that's not right.
That's
I don't
too
know.
much.
He
Not that
cashed
much.
out a lot. A big chunk.
Big chunk.
And, you could make the argument that it did cause a little bit of a slide, but the market was kind of sliding. So it's like really kind of hard to say, I'm not a super finance guy, so I can't really say, but, they have made some gains to close of the year. So back, what's his face? The new CEO cashed out some stock to buy a house. And he was straight up, he's like,
it was
yo,
$2 million to buy
stock.
a house. Yeah, that's right.
$2 million to buy a house. Okay. I get it. You want to cash out before the stock dips a little too low.
Cashing out of the long war, $2 million.
Is there a line for us to do that?
We should all cash out for $2 million.
It'd be like in Dumb and Dumber. We could sign that IOU. Be like, you want to keep this one.
That's a good one.
It's a keeper.
It's a keeper. But I think they're on the right track as far as things go. But I would like to note that sales in their online store were flat compared to last year, and their Forge World and Black Library store sales declined slightly by almost £500,000. That's in the last 6 months, And I would also like to remind you that they raised prices on Forge World 20% or more in some locations in the last 6 months as well.
Little arbitrage, as we learned.
Little arbitrage, not really tell people, but hey, we did this thing.
We did this thing that people didn't already like, and there was already a third-party market of recasting, and we're just slightly down on our numbers by $500,000.
But,
so to be honest, just quick numbers out, but I'm drawing out too much more, but like, is this the 20 or the percentage that they're down? Are they actually down on sales or down on dollars? Because if they raise the price 20% and they're getting more dollars per this, are they just down on sales and they're really not down on as many dollars because they're just charging more per item?
Well, see, that's where it gets really curious too, because we don't have all that data. But I would like to point out too,
you always present this report in the most positive light possible, so it's really difficult to dissect it and figure out what's really going on.
Right, like if they raised it 20%. They technically made 20% more, but they're still $500,000 down in sales. And this is all in pounds. I'm only speaking in pounds because that's the numbers I have in front of me. So theoretically, they charged more and they're still down, which is weird, right? Because you would think if you're getting more, you don't have to sell but that's weird numbers. And I would also like to bring this up. From a little bit of jumping to conclusions, so to speak, the new Warbringer Titan they came out with that was $1,500 US. They ran out of stock after about 300 units. And the reason we can kind of safely assume it was 300 units is because the Titan, the website where you can go and register, Titan Owners Club, the last one that was registered on there was number 296. So assuming that they made 300, it sold out shortly after that was registered. You can safely assume that they roughly sold 300 of them at $1,500. I think was $450,000 US. So that one item actually made up a lot of chunk of their sales, you could say. So they sold this one.
Yeah, should I go register the 4 that I have and just now we can just know that it's
put it over the top.
Even 300? Like, yep, yeah. You're right.
They are back in stock now, by the way. If you're looking to spend $1,500 on a Titan,
so interesting. So GW opened a new factory. That's also what it took from that. You mentioned that.
We're not sure it's open. They said they're just still developing a new factory.
So developing,
I think is the wording.
They're probably waiting smartly with a little bit of guidance by somebody there. Like, why don't we wait to see Q1 before we pull the trigger on that?
They brought in a new head of logistics this time last year. So this has probably all been development cycle.
Interesting. Well, we knew that their sales were up. Hopefully they maintain that. Hopefully they don't get crushed by any kind of downtick because of overextending themselves. So I'm glad they're waiting on that. As 40K goes away, I don't know what we do.
It definitely would make it harder on every game store out there.
I guess we'd be a Magic podcast. You guys down to get into Magic?
Yes. I'll do what it takes. Lord of the Rings, baby. Let's go.
Oh, but GW makes Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, GW makes Lord of the Rings.
Guess we'll just have to finally make our own game. We'll just anachronism.
It's happening.
That already bankrupted, but we can play that too, I guess.
Competitive anachronism.
We can take it back for at least 3 months.
Yeah. I guess we can just finally develop our board game. Ghost Commanders.
Yeah, as Azrael brought up the cash flow statement, it is also, we mentioned it in our article, they've been able to get a pretty good cash surplus as well. So that's good going into this volatile market season.
All right,
but
let's jump off of this. Juice, got a poop story for the new year? Has it happened yet?
Not there yet.
He hasn't pooped in the new year. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic when he gets one.
Looking for, okay.
Not there yet.
Okay, we don't have our first New Year's poop story. Okay.
Yep.
Still waiting with bated breath on that, but we do have. I don't know why I segued from poop to this, but hey, ETC.
ETC, it's happening. So that is in August. August-ish time, 2019, Serbia. Sean and I will be leading the charge. And Sean, there is half the team has locked hands, arms, and we are ready for everyone to know. So as of right now, it is you and I. We have one of our first announcement was Jeff Robinson in control. If anybody didn't know, made
Dr. Werner Born.
Dr. Werner. Shout out to Austin Wingfield. And lastly, Nick
and
Rose.
Today we announced Nick Rose.
Nick the Truth Rose?
The
Nick
truth.
So, some of those names, like, we can go in and talk about. You guys have heard him before, but, like, before I even go back, like, this damn Nick Rose, right? This cat has been winning games with Index Gene Stealer Colt for a long time now. And so just constantly still winning, doing some tricks and some shenanigans. So this guy's an animal, as he always is.
So Jeff, Austin, the Truth, you, Sean, who else?
Warner
Dr.
Bourne.
Werner Born.
So for anybody who doesn't know, that was the captain from last year's reigning first place championship team. As something that Sean has been very adamant on from the beginning, that literally if you kill it, if you do a great job, because there's not as, the accolades necessarily on the table aren't there for a coach. They got to do a lot of the grimy, paperwork, finding out what the best is, what you need in between games. You're doing a lot of necessarily not getting the prestige of rolling sixes and stuff, right? Like, you're just going there specifically to help people in between rounds. So if, as per Sean's, as the law, if you nail it, if you put in the work and do your due diligence, no matter what, you are absolutely one of the only people that's guaranteed a spot on the next year's team.
Yeah, I thought it was really important because, like you said, Juice, they don't get as much accolades as the coach, but they put in all the work and they spend all the money and they take all the time out from their families to come be part of the team and do the work. And last year there was even oversight from the tournament committee, and there wasn't even one of the small trophies wasn't even made for the coach. So I actually passed my trophy on to Werner, because I was like, how can there not be a trophy for the coach? He's part of the team. Every team's a 9-man unit, So
Yeah, it's not 8 + 1, it's 9.
it's 9.
That's pretty awesome. So you guys can see these submission videos, right, on Facebook.
Yeah, Team America 40K is the Facebook page for Team America.
And is it open submissions for everyone to
announcement.
submit videos?
Yeah, we ran that through the holiday season. We've been collating and finalizing the team in the last couple of weeks. But it's always good to receive submissions, because sometimes life happens and we have to replace players. And we look at those for next year as well. We start to be able to pick out players and see what they're doing in the tournament circuit as we see them at big events. It helps us formulate both this year's team and future teams.
Yep, there's also, like you said too, there's stuff, hold-ins, alternates was the word I was looking for, that we are already going to have in place, 3 or 4 people that can be a part of that can be in on chat groups and theory crafting and things like that. So yeah, please, absolutely, do it up. Very soon, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be launching a GoFundMe page for sending the entire team to Serbia. Obviously, the financial drain and burden, understand, flying to another country. There's a reason why, ladies and gentlemen, ETC will never be hosted in America, because every one of those countries would have to send their players here. We're one of the people that have to cross the pond and go do it. So we're going to be doing that. You're going to be seeing jerseys. Where actually there's potentially some specific podcasts in the works for the Team USA members, bringing them on, getting some kind of rapport with the masses, right? Which that's the whole concept of why we wanted to do this and come together. It's the fact that make ETC and Team America a household thing, a tournament structure that people talk about, that are thinking about names, and whatnot, like it is in other countries. Not just, oh yeah, it's something that happens, but it's so elite and so far out there that no one ever knows or cares about it. We'll read it on Spiky Bits later.
I never read anything on Spiky Bits.
The worst. All that pop up and spam.
Clickbaity, fucking fake writing, beta bitch, cocks.
With stupid faces.
Stupid faces.
Bringing us to this this section. So yeah, today, we're getting back into it. 2019. We had some great holidays. But this is going to be a nonstop workflow for the next few months. Right? ETC is being put together. The guys are working on that. New content. We're going to be back on the air with battle reports ASAP, maybe as soon as this Sunday, if schedules allow for it, but we'll be back on the content train here real soon. We've already, started plugging things back in because, we had to turn everything off for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And now we're putting everything back in. So content is mostly all here again. Speaking of content, Long War Doubles. LVO is right around the corner. It's less than a month away, guys. LVO is going to be the biggest singles event in the history of mankind. It was last year. It was the year before that. And it continues to trend that way. We are bringing the doubles to Las Vegas. Reese hit me up earlier. He said we have now like 230 players for the LVO doubles. There's an article out on Spiky Bits. I know I've said this. We're going to keep mentioning it because we got to get the word out. There's an article on Frontline Gaming and Spiky Bits that breaks down everything except the final rubrics. It talks about scores, percentages, what to expect, what missions, everything. By this weekend, we should have the painting rubric and the theme rubric up. I won't even bother with the sportsmanship and comp. It's going to be really simple to understand. We have the biggest score you can get now is judged by us, which is theme. Second to painting, which is judged by us. Then all your battle score combined is equal to theme if you max it out. But the big news is that over 230 people, man.
That's huge.
It's huge. And that's going to be the first one of the season, guys. Long War Doubles, LVO, first one of the season is going to be cresting 200.
Yeah, 115 teams. That's amazing.
And Adepticon, we could take like a month off and we're back at Adepticon, right? And there's almost 300 people there.
154 teams, ladies and gentlemen.
And then Bay Area Open. We don't know what it's going to be. Then potentially we're in negotiations for Warzone Atlanta. We don't know what it's going to be. So at this point, I think we can acknowledge the gangsterness of the Bringing Hobby Back movement and the fact that in this hobby both can exist. That this is a podcast.
Also our rubric's going to be used at ATCs in July.
Ballin' makes me happy.
Rubric.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking banging. We got legendary Mike Haspil re-authoring the old Feast of Blades rubric to be more modern. But I think at this point now we can acknowledge it. Like we have a podcast window here, right? You see a guy on top of me. I don't know what you guys see. A guy on top of me. This dude barely can win 40K game, right? Then a guy below him.
Talking about me.
Who can?
I win plenty of 40K games.
A guy below him who could also barely win 40K games. Then you got guys that are the left and right who win all their 40K games. So I'm just saying dramatically that we mostly talk competitive 40K here, right? We mostly do. But we also don't make money on a Long War Doubles event. We've never charged for it. We work out deals, full transparency, where we don't pay for like hotel rooms and shit, right? Because like we can't fly somewhere and pay to be there and not get paid. We just got to make it not cost us money to be there, but we've never actually taken a dollar into a bank account to put on these events the third year, right? So that's how committed we are to both worlds existing together and, and coexisting, because like we always say, if you're in an elevator, two people never met before, they're in an elevator. One guy might be Sean, one might be some guy who never won a game of 40K in his life, but he loves the hobby. They're riding an elevator up somewhere and they discover they both like 40K. They're best friends. They should be at least. That's what this event's about, is that we have a podcast dedicated to winning games of 40K and being competitive, doing tactics, battle reports, painting, everything. But we also go out of our way to volunteer to run this event. And this year, there might be 1,000 people playing in it. I think it's a big deal. I think that's a massive success. I've been feeling really proud of that number the last few months. I'm stoked to be there, meet everyone, see everyone. Maybe, hey guys, maybe we don't crack the beers open till noon.
What's a beer?
Some put some levels on this. I completely agree. Yeah, this has been a wild ride considering 3 years ago, Kenny, Rob, you guys remember it was like 19 teams for the Long War doubles? I think that was our 19 or 22 teams was our very first thing. And then 3 years later, that same Adepticon, we are at 150, almost 160 teams. So, right, and branching off, there's actually some works and potentially us hosting our own event in the Pines, Pinehurst area towards the end of this year. Like, a lot of positive things. This is, we say it's a little cliche, but I think we pretty much pack the punch every year, but I think 2019 is going to be the best year for all the platforms.
For bringing hobby back and being a competitor. Like, it's all going to happen. This is, it just keeps growing despite GW's best efforts. You're listening to GW.
And the most competitive race of the tournament Juice and I were at this past weekend was for best overall. Because once a couple of us started losing games, you still had top players with hardcore, well-painted armies, myself, Juice, Austin Wingfield, Andrew Gagnon, just chasing everything about the hobby for the rest of the weekend. It was pretty exciting. We were chasing each other around the whole tournament, being like, "What was your paint score, huh?"
Yo, you're hobby shaming each other.
Yo, it was to the point.
No, we were
Sunday morning.
Oh man, who's second? We're the second, third, fourth.
Oh, because you're
paint.
okay.
And then we were all like chasing each other down in the bathroom too.
Dude, it was. Was 6. So check this out. So for anybody who's out there, 5-round event, the painting score is the 6th score. So whoever out of the top 32 players, whoever got the best painted, got 32 battle points for that. Second best painted got 31. And so all the way down. So we're sitting there the whole time like, holy shit, you got 27, I got 26, so up. I'm up 4 points on you. It was you're right, Sean. That was actually one of the funnest moments of it. And you got to know that that's happening across the country. Right? So it's pretty awesome to see. And the proof is going to be in the pudding in 3 weeks when we see all the pictures, all the armies, see everybody and what they bring and what they've actually come up with. And then again, see those same people at Adepticon, maybe with the same army, maybe with something different. I'm really excited.
Yep, it's going to be stoked, so I can't urge you guys enough. Man, check out the post on Spiky Bits from Like Gaming. Keep your ears to the ground because more is going to be coming out real soon. I just want to remind you guys, it's 1,000 points. So you have a 1,000-point army. You team up with somebody 1,000-point army. Can't stress this enough. There are different rules for constructing a 1,000-point army. You have limitations on how many data slates can be presented, how many detachments you can have. That's the only, there's no rules except the rules in our event. Okay, so that is a rule. So make sure you follow the rules, the guidelines, make sure you're in compliance. I will be giving out mulligans at LVO, okay, because it's a little close to the wire. People may have not heard. So if somebody's in there and they might have 3 detachments and a 1,000-point army, I'll throw a mulligan out. It's a hobby bet, right? 70% hobby score. But you're not going to be getting any mulligans at Adepticon. And we might even be, by the end of the year, doing 750 per team. If people want to go 4 rounds and do 1,500-point teams. So
I think that's the evolution for anybody who hasn't played in a 4-round event. We scared of it, especially when you're talking about a 1,500-point game, 4 rounds. By the time you get done with your 3rd game, you're going to be like, I want to do another one. This is you get the most, instead of thinking to yourself of saying like, oh, that's too exhausting. I don't want, no. You're getting the most bang for your buck of all the time and effort you put into these models and thinking about it. And you get to share that experience for 4 games with great opponents that are like-minded individuals just like you. I'm telling you, 4 rounds is where you're going to want to live.
4 rounds is the heater.
And your friend.
And your buddy. That's why we love doubles, man. It's going to be hit. But hey, guys, let's do a commercial break. Then we're going to come back, and I believe we're going to be discussing
some tournament from the
Hammer in the New Year.
Yeah, Hammer in the New Year. How exactly it went for both of us? Kind of a rundown of who we played and potentially what that's going to have the effect on the meta coming into LVO.
Here we go. Finally, the Long War swag is here. LongWarSwag.com. The official home of Long War merchandise. We've got a range of merchandise exclusive to the Long War brand, next level painting and spiky bits. Definitely log in today while supplies lasts. Veterans, I've got news for you. Get your best deals online at dicehead.com. Long War Vets, call or email for your best vet deals. That's dicehead.com. elricshobbies.com is your exclusive portal to upgrading your hobby. When you sign up at thelongwar.net, you gain an instant promotional discount good for 10% off at Elric's Hobbies. elricshobbies.com.
Dear veterans, quickly, make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
And we're back. Juice Hammer in the new year.
This past weekend, we had Snowmageddon Hammer in the new year. It was an absolute blizzard for anyone who was in the South, or it was another day for anybody who was from the North. So 32 people came together, some of the best players in the country: Nick Nanavati, Sean Naden, Andrew Gagno, Tony Kopak, myself, Austin Wingfield, Kelsey Haley. Just the list goes on and on. It was an absolute humdinger. 5 rounds. The list that
how many players
guys,
again?
32.
32, 5 rounds, and half the field is in the top 30 on the ITC tracker.
Yes, it is. Half the field was made up of the Nova Invitational this past year, right? Like half the field could at any time win a GT, right? Like it was Normally, it's 1 or 2 people that show up to a 32 person event.
Who won Nova a bunch of times? I'm going to do this bit again. Who won Nova a bunch of times? Who was that guy?
Tony Kopak.
Wait, what about that other guy?
Andrew Gagno.
Andrew Gagno.
One of them. Yeah.
And somebody there's won Adepticon a few times.
Yeah, who's that other guy who won Adepticon like 4 times in a row?
Mm-hmm.
Who did you
Sounds
play
right.
first 2 games, Sean?
I played Tony Kopak and Andrew Gagno back to back.
Did you play anybody off that list I just mentioned too, Juice?
Yep. Nick Nanavati, round 4. It was, dude, it was unbelievable, right? So, to talk about lists, real quick rundown, I had a Castellan, 2 Gallants, that was all House Raven, and 3 tank commanders that were Cadian, all Punishers, all Plasma, all Heavy Bolter up front, and Mortars, right? A bunch of hammers. Sean, real quick, what was the rundown gist of what you did?
I ran Ynnari with the Incarn, 60 Guardians, 25 Witches, and a couple Harlequin bikes, and the Solitaire.
You say a couple
James
Harlequin
R.
bikes, how many?
Like 6.
That's what I thought.
Like a hobo amount.
So I have to play with all these hammers. Sean is still doing Sean things, right? So like he can.
Sean things at this point is an actual adjective, like descriptive.
Yep. Right.
I've seen it on Reddit. On Reddit, people go, ignore him.
Yeah, you can like his mind works in different and mysterious ways. But so this I think this tournament is a precursor of what exactly we're going to see at LVO. Tony Kopak is taking his tried and true style of with the Castellan with Catachin. Now he did include, instead of the Blood Angels, he included the Bulgren, right, with a mix of Brute Shields and the other ones. So that's really good. He also added in Wyverns, right?
Wyverns have been really strong. I've been seeing them at a lot of events lately, especially with that new Vigilus.
Yeah, Emperor's Wrath.
Stratagem or detachment.
So I have a question for you guys about that. So explain to me, a layperson, when it says you can fire a weapon twice, and the Wyvern has technically 2 weapons, right? Shatter Shard Mortar. How does that work?
I was told the Shatter Shard Mortar in the Codex is now 1 weapon. Is that not true?
I believe
So we'll check that out. I also believe that it is 2 weapons, but I did hear the same person say that it was 1, so you could shoot it. So,
I thought.
Yes, that Emperor's Wrath detachment is very popular.
Assuming that wyverns or shadow storm arrays are 1 weapon, yeah.
No, even not. Just the aura of plus -1 AP on 6s. Oh, it is 1 weapon, so yeah.
Equipped with a Wyvern Quad Storm Shard Mortar. So they made it a quad.
Yep. So even
so 6s are -1 AP.
6s are -1 AP, and you can make one of these wyverns ignore cover, which is really
and then for 2 CP, 1 can shoot twice, right? So
that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of firepower.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then this all is coming in at the tax of, a couple CP a turn. But considering the amount of CP that the brigades give you, the amount of CP that you were putting in the Blood Angels, now that you removed the Bane Captains, you do have a lot of CP. You don't need to rotate Ion Shields and Raven Strat every turn with the Castellan to be the CP drain. So that is really good. And just like I thought, considering that I took Knights and Guards still, right, in some form or fashion. But at the end of the day, the FAQs, the chapter approved, the Vigilist books just made these units better. And that's going to hold true. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to hold true going into LVO. If you are out there, if you're prepping, if you just bought your plane ticket, your rooms are paid for and your bags are packed. If you haven't thought about Guard Artillery, you're going to be in for a rude awakening. Manticores, Wyverns, Artillery, Punisher tank commanders, regular tank commanders, Plasma Cutioners, Night Titans. They're cheaper. They are going to abuse the table as much as they can.
I'm going to need to get one of those Space Marine anatomically correct sex dolls and just be like, so I can show you guys where I was touched.
Where did the Knight Castellan touch you with his gallant friends watching? So while we've got that, Eldar Yunari and traditional guys were doing their thug thizzle. How did we, Sean? I can't even believe it. I apologize because you're one of my favorite people. I always will say it. Matt Shook. How did we name off the list of people who are amazing and forgot Matt Shookman? This
probably
dude
because day 2 with the snow, his wife called him because he had lost day 1. He had to return home to the mothership.
Well, that's a good point. Sometimes
the snowstorm actually took out a couple of players.
Did his wife call him and say, "You lost the game? Get the fuck home"?
That's exactly what she said.
Scrub.
She said, "Scrub, no longer worthy. Come home.
Come home with your shield or on it." And we know you don't have it anymore. But he actually had to play Nick Nanavati round 2. Okay. And this was round 2 or round 3, excuse me. So, and that was a tough fight, right? Like he almost was able to pull the orcs down.
I cut the orc horde down to like 3 or 4 models.
Yeah. That's saying a lot. And I have a lot of firepower and I came close to that number, but I didn't get that close. So it just shows that Shining Spears, Dark Reapers, Warlock, like that stuff with a well-oiled machine, Eldar brain like Matt Shookman is still going to be good no matter what, right? Like, so just because they've dropped points on a lot of things, just because other things are good, doesn't mean that good players and all the other units that were broken. I hate that word, broken. Other units that were amazing are still amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Austin Wingfield was just killing it with Magnus and Morty. We had multiple 4 knight armies, right? 3+ knights. There was probably 6 people with it. It felt like, it was really good. Then of course we have Nick Nanavati's list that had 300+ orcs, 90 of them being Gretchen. So that was obviously something that we've talked about, something that, from the creation of the Orc Codex to our hands, we've always said, hey, you got to watch out for 300 orcs. Hey, I don't know if you know this, but Ludus can shoot well and there's a bunch of orcs. Well, people are now taking it. It's taken a while for them to get those models and putting it on the board. So we haven't seen it. It is definitely going to be at LVO. Make sure you're ready.
It's going to be tough to play that in the top 8 with a chess clock.
Chess clock. And thank you, Sean, for with 10 dice. This is actually one of the number one thing that I'm looking forward going into LVO is not just the sick commentators, which is Jeff Robinson and Frankie Giapapa. Not just looking for those two guys. I'm not just excited to see who is going to be in the top 8. I'm also excited to see how those 10 dice in today's meta is going to shape out.
Yeah, it's an interesting feature that people don't notice about the top 8 of Vegas if you've never been there, is they hand you 10 dice, casino dice. It's a shtick a little bit, but you have to use those 10 dice in the top 8. You can share your 10 dice with your opponent and then have 20 dice, but try to fit 20 casino dice in your hands, and if your hands aren't quite big enough, you don't do it. But that's the dice you use in the top 8. So if your army is rolling and counting on rolling hundreds of dice a turn, and you have ways and methods of making those dice faster. I count mine in cups. I have them pre-counted, pre-sorted, so I can roll lots of dice really fast. You can't do that in the top 8. The whole game plan changes when you make it there.
I love this so much. I've actually got this whole rant in something that is for a later date. We don't need to waste time with it now, but I despise club dice in competitive 40K. I despise lighted dice, all these other cool things. Like, I think we should be rolling an X kind of dice. I think the casino dice is amazing. The concept of 10 of them is something like, if I'm not mistaken, Sean, you've been telling me for a couple of years now, you kind of hand tailor your list, hoping and knowing that you're going to make it and bust your ass and get in the top 8. But you're also building a list that once you get there, it doesn't count on those hundreds of dice. You know, you don't build something that'll get you there and then get hosed due to the chess clock and the amount of dice and how the manner in which you have to roll them.
Yeah, and I've had to think about that real hard the last couple of weeks because my list had been trending towards a ton of models and ton of bullets, and now I'm stepping back and thinking I need to cut some of this back because it's a different game when you make that top 8. So you might need that list might get you there, but you can't win if on a chess clock you need to count on rolling hundreds and hundreds of dice to win.
Unless you can table them on turn 1 using 60 minutes of your time.
Maybe.
Now I got him thinking about it. It's like, wait.
Can I?
Checks out.
Because then you just get the rest of the turns, right? Move around. I'm not saying that's a good strategy. I'm playing an army at LVO that rolls no more than 7 dice at once. So
Storm Shard Cannon, or not Storm Shard Cannon. What's the Decimator Cannons?
No. Demon Princes have 7 attacks.
Oh, Demon Prince.
And then when my 3 Nurglings, who technically have 12 attacks, get into a combat, I'm like, meh. Do you really want to not wound you? Got it. No wounds. Roll no dice. Because that's what they do. Roll it out for you. I don't give a fuck. But
you got to roll it out.
I will.
You have to pick up your Nurglings.
But I'll lose a base every time going in, so it'll be 8 dice again.
Yeah.
G. Or I just never charge you.
Or only touch them with 1 Nurgling.
Yep, there you go. That's how I'm going to meta it. 1 Nurgling, 4 attacks.
4 attacks.
They're like, what are you doing? Sean said I had to roll less dice to win. Lose every game. God damn it, Sean.
Old move, Cotton.
It's going to be awesome. I haven't played a single game since SoCal Open.
Wait, I've played more 40K than you have lately?
Yeah. I guarantee I played more Fallout 76 than you have.
Absolutely. Although the game looks... I've seen some scenes in that game, and I'm like, you know what? That's right up the street. I've seen that spot. Where you're at right now, I've driven by there.
Oh, yeah. Good old West Virginia. The home of the you-know-what shacks.
Driven by a few of those, too.
Yeah. There's plenty of them in the game. Nope, I'm going to go into LVO super unprepared, and I've always said it. You can't win tournaments like that if you're not prepared. Doesn't matter how good you are. I'm not saying you have to play test every week or anything. I'm just saying you got to know your matchups. You got to know this. You got to know that. I'm not going to be prepared. Other things have controlled my life for the last few months, and I'm going to go in with the goal of winning 3 games, which I think I can do with how big the player pool is going to be this year.
Player pool is going to be huge.
I might even win 4 fucking games with how big the player pool is. That's
what I was saying after this last weekend's tournament, where it was 32 people with 17 of them being big dick swingers. I was like, you might not even pay any of them
No.
in 6 games at LVO.
That's all you all. Philly Paul called me in a panic. Like when we were like, or called Mark in a panic, and he just handed me the phone when we were at your wedding, Juice. I was like, what do you want? And he was like, I just want to talk about LVO and how bullshit it is that it's still just like a top 8, you know, and like they got all these people. And I was like, Philly Paul, if anything, now people like you are going to make the top 8 who never normally would. So why are you mad? And he was like, wait, what? And I was like,
What?
It's easier now.
it's easier now.
Nah, it's now, if I'm not mistaken, Sean is in there, or guys, if y'all have read it too, if I'm not mistaken, they're actually building in a Ghost 7th round to make people happy who did complain that potentially there could be 9 or 10 people undefeated. I think that they're actually building in the 7th Ghost round that would happen Saturday night.
Basically, outside the tournament single elimination round.
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's if the top 4 automatically go to day 3, and then the next 8, only if there's more than 8 undefeated, I think. I think there was that provision. If there's more than 8 undefeated, if there's even just one more, then they go to a.
They're going to have a
12,
walk-off. Old school
and
rules.
then
old school.
The next 8 people play one game that doesn't count, doesn't get them ITC points. It's just to get into that top 8.
To get into the fill the spot for the next 4.
Oh, let's also talk about this. I saw this in chat just now when I looked over. So top 8, you got to have 100% GW models and be painted well.
Yeah.
What does painted well mean?
I don't know.
I think everyone knows what it means. I don't think you need to ask that fucking question. You're not painted well.
If you have to ask, they're not painted well.
They're not painted well. 3 color minimum is not painted well.
What's a ZJ?
Hey, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. But you just said it was $2.30. That's always my problem with that line. It's one of the funniest fucking lines in that movie. And I'm like, wait, he just said it was like $2. Of course I can afford it. I'm gonna buy it. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. $2.30 is not the same to everybody.
Hey,
Very Bandersnatch.
not to take the spotlight off of LVO, which is a great event, and I can't wait to get out there and get involved. I just want to let everybody know too that the ATCs, that's the 5-man team format, tickets are on sale right now over at whatc.org.
Same old website for all those years.
And also, Age of Sigmar will have a 4-man team system.
You still banned from Age of Sigmar tournaments since you're a cheater?
No, my self-imposed cheating ban was up 31st of December. Thank you, sir.
Just want to remind everyone that he did self-ban himself for 2018.
It's true. Oh, that Troggoth got me in so much trouble.
Damn Troggoth.
Damn Troggoth. And then they come out with more Troggoths, and I don't know what to do.
Just don't look at them. Don't fuck with them.
You put them under the bridge where the trolls belong. So
and Barry Bandersnatch, he belongs under bridges too.
There's a full slate of amazing tournaments coming up. LVO, Adepticon, ATC, small ones in between, large ones at the end. It is going to be the year of 40K.
Battle for Salvation. Did you guys talk about that?
Yep. So we have the team event at ATC and then the team event at Battle for Salvation. Sean, that is
April 13th and 14th, I believe.
I'm not mistaken. It is. It is 2 weeks after Adepticon. And that is in the beautiful Palisades Mall.
Run by the great BFS crew. I will be head tournament organizer at that event that weekend.
Randall going to be there?
Is that head honcho?
I will be head honcho. I will have all the power. Usually goes to my head very quickly.
I'm going to bring a name tag that says Mike Honcho.
Got all my.
What's your ruling on the roller coaster there? Is it OP or can we ride it?
You can ride it.
When you say OP, you mean like out of print or like overpowered?
Overpowered.
Or you'll piss yourself.
Yeah, this mall is so legit. It has a roller coaster.
You'll ride a roller coaster, but you won't fly.
It has a roller coaster.
You would ride a
roller coaster there.
You would ride a roller coaster, but you wouldn't fly.
There's like a carousel and like a Ferris wheel
and a hockey rink. There's a hockey rink.
There's a hockey rink for sure.
There's a roller coaster there, or they took it out.
You've never ridden a roller coaster in your life. You don't know what they look like.
That's the mall in Minnesota.
No, that's the America Mall. I know the Palisades. You go across the chimpanzee to get there. I know where it is.
He doesn't know what it is. He looked at a map. He saw he has an old timey map with they used to draw the little symbols on it, and there's a roller
The
coaster
Harrowby
symbol on it.
Dragons.
And that's what he's going off of.
I think you're describing
pirate map.
Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
Lavaria
Yes.
said it's gone, so it's gone.
It's gone?
The dysentery is gone, or the
Roller
They
coaster.
took it out.
roller coaster?
Well, now you guys know how long it's been since.
Roller coasters are sketchy.
Roller coaster.
There's the whole ropes course that goes from the first floor to the fourth floor of this mall.
That's
Yeah.
new.
I want y'all to know the little one, Bea. She was happy because she found out this is the first 40K tournament that she gets to go to, and she's excited that it's not in the middle of nowhere, and there's stuff to do. So she's excited. It's New York. We're happening. We're going. So
She would have been more excited if the roller coaster was still there.
Oh, she can play hockey or ice skate with her Uncle Robbie B now.
Or ride the carousel.
Carousel.
Right.
That definitely seems more your speed.
come to find out, the carousel is the roller coaster that Rob has been talking about this entire time.
Terrified.
And he's terrified of it. It goes so high.
There's a Dave and Buster's for you, Rob.
Oh yeah, and isn't there Dave and Buster's right next to B-Dubs?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I'm
like-
always going to D&B's.
Which one do I pick? I don't know. Let's do both.
Both it is.
Well, there it is. All the tournaments. LVO in 3 weeks. We'll be seeing you guys really soon. Content train's coming back. Maybe as soon as this Sunday, we will let you guys know if we're going to be streaming a live battle report or not. But regardless, there will be tactics content. I'm going to get up with these hobos over here, make sure we steal something from their page and throw it on the Long War so that we can satiate you guys regardless. Painting
And when
content's
you
back
mean
on.
and when you mean that page, you mean Patreon/Battle all precious tactics classes, content, and whatnot can be found.
Battle Brother, right? Singular.
Battle
right?
Brother. Patreon/Battle Brother.
That's right. Because Battle Brothers was taken. I was there for that.
Yep. We tried.
We tried. And when actually, if the bot's on, exclamation point, Battle Bro? Might actually
I put it in there already too, so it went out.
Because we do film this live before a 2019 style live studio audience. This is the part where I turn it over to Rob, then he turns it over to Haspil.
But today I'll be playing the part of Mike Haspil. So I don't have a snappy quote, but I will tell you to go over to thelongwar.net, the home of the battle reports, for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.